All right. If you ever destroyed your own progress, it wasn't because you were weak. It wasn't because you didn't consent to the growth. And nobody tells you this part. That version of you doesn't fight fair. It doesn't scream, it whispers. So for me, it shows up as an itch, usually like a beer, right? Not a binge, not a chaos, just one. I'm not that big of a drinker, and I already know what happens next. I feel worse the next day, way less sharp, and less disciplined. And more than that, a little disappointed because I already know the outcome, yet I still did the act. That's a part that people don't talk about. It's not the beer, it's the self-betrayal. So psychology actually has a word for this: maladaptive coping. Short-term relief, long-term damages. Not because you don't know any better, but because something in you needs more growth. Here's what messed with me. It never happens when you're doing poorly. It actually happens when things are going in the right direction. When routines are solid, right? When momentum is building, that's when something comes in to stop it. And research backs this up. So self-sabotage spikes after progress, not before it. Because progress raises the stakes. It threatens the old identities. Basically, you stop being able to say, this is just who I am. There is a version of you that used to benefit from the older habits and benefited from staying small. You had lower expectations. There was that familiar disappointment and predictable pain, right? And when you start changing those aspects, that old version starts to panic. So it doesn't attack your goals directly. That would be obvious. But what it does do instead, it nudges you toward procrastination. It nudges you toward overindulgence. Just this once type of style behavior. Tiny violations of your own standards. Psychology calls this self-defeating behavior. So it's not accidental. It's protective. This isn't a weakness. It's loyalty to an outdated identity that you're trying to leave behind. So here's the dark truth. Your nervous system prefers predictable misery over unfamiliar responsibilities. And progress depends on consistency. I think we can all agree on that. Consistency removes excuses. And excuses are emotional. They're an emotional shelter. And when that shelter disappears, your mind, it looks like a back door. So that's why people start to ruin their streaks and that good path they're on. They start blowing up routines. They start sabotaging their relationships with others. They undercut their own credibility. So right when life starts asking for more of them, you didn't fix this with, motivation. You fix it with recognition. The moment you feel the urge, just take a pause and ask that brutal question. Who am I trying to stay loyal to right now? Because every self-destructive impulse is protecting something. It's either protecting a fear, it's protecting a comfort, it's protecting an old version of you that doesn't want to die. And research is pretty clear here on this. Behavior change sticks when it aligns with an identity, not rules. So when we're trying to better ourselves, we put a lot of rules in place. And those rules aren't you. So pay attention to what you reach for when things are going well. That's your resistance. And the resistance doesn't mean to stop. It means you're closer to your goal. So if this made you feel uncomfortable, good. That was the point. That means that you recognized something. So why don't we do this? Name the behavior you use to sabotage yourself in the comments. That one sabotage that you keep defending. Say it, own it, or just keep repeating it. Doesn't matter to me. Growth doesn't fail because you're imperfect. It fails because you never fully agreed to the change in the first place.